All right, good morning, everyone. So today you're going to complete your common task as I said you would. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview about how to interact with the Google slide, which I'm pretty confident you know anyways, but I'm not going to take anything for assumption. So um, basically the overall theme of this task is this girl, Amaya, has been contracted to design some art using geometry, more specifically transformations. So you can read all the prompt fully yourself, but the bottom line up front is first you have this object, and in part A, you're going to, on a separate sheet of paper, as it states right here, find the distances of AB, BC, CD, and AD respectively. So there's something I'm expecting to see in your work. A formula is the only hint I'm going to give there. Do that 4 times, and part A is complete. Number 2, now the first piece of art she's going to make is using reflections. So taking this object, this pre-image, you're going to do 3 reflections. The first one is reflecting over the y-axis. Your second one will be over the x-axis. And lastly, you reflect over the line y equals negative x. All those reflections are going on this one coordinate plane. So at the very end, you'll have the pre-image, which we're looking at right now. The second, third, and fourth transformation all on the same plane. So there should be 4 total pattern pieces outlined. Now, what I'd like you to do is use the dots. I put these here so you can interact with them. So you're going to figure out what the coordinates are. Let's say after reflection over the y-axis, I'm going to purposely do a wrong answer, but just for whatever reason you thought it was, -2 comma negative, what's this, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So drag your points to the proper places, and I'll just kind of make it look like a tiny bit like it's supposed to. So suppose you thought that was the pattern piece, the reflection. You're going to use this polyline tool, which is in this drop-down menu, line, arrow, blah, 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 polyline, right? Connect it, bing, boom, bada, yada, manana. And there you go. There's like what you can submit. So it's a way for you in this COVID era to graph, show your work, still get a common task in. By the way, make it look a little pretty. Don't go overly extreme. If it hurts my eyes, it's going to hurt other people's eyes. And this is a task. We want it to look nice. So I'm being boring, just keeping it blue. Maybe I would make it purple. You get it. You can add your own little flair. I'm just saying don't go super crazy with designs and kind of loses the feel of the task. But a little bit of like making it look pretty is nice. All right, so at the very end of this, 3 total reflections, 1 over the y-axis, 1 over the x-axis, 1 over the line y equals negative x. And that takes care of this slide. Part 3, or part C, I should say, apparently Maya was not satisfied with that design. So now she is going to try rotations. So it's a little bit of storytelling here. It's like, okay, this girl Maya has been contracted to do some design work. They start with this piece. So she decides, well, let me try reflections. After you look at it, the idea is what she saw, she didn't like. So now she wants to try rotations. So anyways, we're going back to the original pattern piece. You're going to complete this table and submit this. Maybe I should say this here. Submit your table on Google Classroom. Then plot the pattern pieces on the coordinate plane using the rotation. So once again, you should have a total of 4 pattern pieces. The pre-image is already there, but then 3 additional ones you will place on this, particularly a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation about the origin, 180 degrees counterclockwise rotation about the origin, and finally a 270-degree clockwise rotation with the origin. I didn't have a place to put the dots for you to interact with, so you kind of have to like click here, cut it, bring it to this slide, paste it, and then move it to where you want. So it's going to be a little bit of tediousness. I get it, but you can do it and have a nice project at the end of this. All right. So I've gone through that already. Just put that back there. And then part D, the owner, who was a former math teacher, loved Amaya, the piece Amaya created using rotations. So you're going to particularly focus in on the part C, I guess, overall design. All right. So part D refers to part C, the rotations. And the owner, again, former math teacher, because who else would notice this, supposedly stated, if I look at point D and its corresponding images after it's been rotated, the segment D1, D3, so you can see that in the diagram, and the segment D2, D4 are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So wanting to impress the owner, Amaya set out to prove the statement true. Create a geometrical argument that proves this statement true. So here's something that you're going to show is true on the additional piece of paper that you will be turning in for both parts A and C here. Okay. So I'm not allowed to tell you what to do, but just read it again. If I look at point D, so the idea is we know where point D is from the original pre-image and its images. So after you do the 3 rotations, there'll be 3 images around this design. D1, D3, and segment D2, D4 are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So how can you show something is perpendicular and bisected on the coordinate plane? Again, put your knowledge to use. And that's it. So this needs to be done today. I will remove the link after 10:30. And it should be submitted no later than 3 o'clock this afternoon. So if you needed a little extra time, then finish it after school immediately, but it is due today, and anything that comes in past 3 will not be graded until you and I have a conversation. So I'm not trying to be a jerk, but these are the rules of a common task. It's common meaning everyone does it, so everyone's going to play by the same rules, but should have no problem doing it. We did this last semester, and if you're on task, ready to go, and kind of know what to do, you'll have it done in 1 period. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Have a great weekend and be well.